I'm Val, and this is my husband Josh. For a long time, we dreamed of a different life. So in the summer of 2019, we sold nearly everything we own and hit the road to travel full-time. Along with our 3 cats, we live and travel in our 30-foot Airstream. Yep, that's about 200 square feet. While it would be nice to be retired in our early 30s, that's just not our life. So we continue to work running our ad agency from the road. Life on the road can be complicated at times, but the opportunities for discovery far outweigh our challenges. Each week, we bring you along to a new destination, discovering with us the best it has to offer. Join us on this journey as we balance work with play and learn how we can all find more adventure in the world around us. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Val, and along with my husband and our 3 cats, we live, travel, and work full-time out of our 30-foot Airstream. We wanted to talk about how we get reliable internet. There is a lot of stuff out there about different hacks that people do to get their internet, and some of it's really good and some of it's not so good, and we know that because we've tried most of it. We've been living full-time on the road for 6 months, and while it would be amazing to be disconnected and essentially on vacation all the time, we run a full-time business from our Airstream. And so because we run a digital advertising agency, we require a lot of data, we require really reliable internet, and we can't be worried that somewhere we go isn't going to have internet. For the most part, we make sure that we are completely self-sustainable from our internet and that we have some backup options sort of figured out before we go somewhere in case all of our options don't work. So I wanted to go through all the things that we do to have reliable internet, how much they cost, whether they were one time, if they're reoccurring, and just kind of our thoughts on it overall. So the first thing that we all have, and I'm sure you have as well, is our cell phones. So we both have Verizon unlimited plans, and as I'm sure you know, unlimited doesn't really mean unlimited when it comes to cell phones. For both of our plans, we can go up to 25 gigs before they potentially throttle us back and slow our internet down. So while yes, it's unlimited, it can be throttled really slow to the point where we really wouldn't be able to run our business from it. We also have limited hotspot opportunities with our phones. So from one of our phones for Verizon, we have a 25 gigabyte limit on our hotspots, and on the other one we have 15. And we have different ones because they offered additional extra things differently than one another. And so that gets us 40 gigs total there of unlimited hotspot data before we get throttled. Also from Verizon, because we have that, we're able to add the Verizon MiFi hotspot. This gives us an additional 15 gigs before it throttles. So from Verizon, all in between both of our cell phone plans and our hotspot, we have a total of 55 gigs of unthrottled hotspot. We've been told if you're in a town center and you've reached your limit, potentially then you could be throttled. We've also heard you'd have to be in a stadium with thousands of other people using your cell phone in order for it to be throttled. So we don't really know. We've found it to be throttled on various different occasions, sometimes when we feel like there's nobody around. So I think it's a little bit inconsistent as far as what causes things to be throttled with Verizon. But that gets us a pretty decent amount of data to work off of. Next, we also know that a lot of parts of the country, Verizon isn't the strongest. And while it is a really great provider and we feel really great about the coverage, we do find that sometimes Verizon has very little or not great service somewhere, and AT&T has much better. For example, we're in Florida right now, and this is kind of the land of AT&T, and AT&T has much better service here than Verizon does. So second to our Verizon situation, we also have an AT&T. This is the Netgear Nighthawk hotspot, and we have through a company called OTR Mobile unlimited, unthrottled AT&T service. And to be honest with you, it's real. We really have unthrottled service with this. We have used in a given month over 100 gigs without even blinking. And you're probably wondering then, like, why do we also pay to have all of this Verizon if we have unlimited, unthrottled AT&T? And again, it just goes back to the fact that AT&T isn't everywhere, Verizon isn't everywhere, but between the combination of the two, we're pretty much covered everywhere we go. So that gets us our actual data across the given month. But sometimes we go places where, because we're reliant on cell service for our data, we have to make sure that we have really good service. And so a lot of times what we'll do is we will check on different camping apps like Campendium to check first if an area around where we're going to camp has good cell service. And good cell service to us means a minimum of 2 4G bars. I say that because on top of having all of this, we also have the WeBoost RV Drive 4GX cell booster. These are the two main components for the inside of it, and I will put in how it works on the outside. On top of having both the WeBoost system, the antenna, we also have the extension pole for this that sends our omnidirectional antenna 25 feet up into the air, which is really helpful because we're short. Like in most parks we go to, the Airstream is the shortest thing that surrounds us, and if our Omni antenna was just mounted on our roof, the likelihood is that fifth wheels and Class A's around us would actually kind of get in the way of that antenna and it wouldn't be as strong. So having that pole basically ensures that our antenna is above everybody, everything else. And in some places where the cell reception is is weak, that can have a huge difference of getting it from 10 feet off the ground to 25 feet off the ground. Now for us, we did not want to mount the pole. I know there's a lot out there around having to mount these brackets to the outside of your RV and people not wanting to do that on the body of their RV. There's concerns about damage to paint and fiberglass and different things like that. For us, we really did not want to mount something to the aluminum on the outside of the Airstream. And what we have found works really great is we simply put the pole into the base that it comes with, and we Velcro with these zip tie style Velcro bands our antenna pole to our awning arms. Now obviously this would be an issue if our awning is out, but we have found that for the most part it's one or the other. We don't really need the antenna while the awning is necessarily out, and we don't need the awning out when we need to be using the cell service. So for us, this works really great. On top of it, we really did not want to drill holes into the Airstream in order to bring that cable wire inside. So in order for that to work, the antenna needs to be connected to the internal receiver. There are 2 of them. This is the main receiver inside. And to do that, we actually ordered it's called the flat window entry cord, pretty sure, or slide entry cord. They're actually designed to slip through the side of the rubber gasket of your slide or come through a window. That didn't work for us because of the design of the Airstream. We obviously don't have slides, and our windows don't work the same as maybe like a traditional fifth wheel, or we don't have the sliding windows, anything like that. So for us, what we actually found, which was amazing, is that we can run ours out our side storage compartment, lock our storage compartment, and run it up through the back floor of what used to be our bunkhouse and is now our office. So that's super helpful. It allows us to bring that in to change our minds about where we want it. We can put it off the back of our Airstream if we want, come up through the antenna in the back, because the compartments in our back under the bed area of the bunkhouse is all kind of one space, and so we can come in from one of 2 different outside compartments. That makes it really helpful. So all in, that's all the gear that we use: 2 cell phones, 2 hotspots, and a super reliable cell phone booster. I mean, we go from 2 bars to 4 bars LTE anytime that we send our booster up. So that makes a huge difference. And while yes, it goes to 25 feet, it actually goes up in increments of 5. So we can go from 10 to 15 to 20 to 25. with the telescoping pole, which is amazing because we don't always need to send it up 25. If it's windy, sometimes we just put it up to the top of the Airstream and get it up over the Airstream, which is about 10 feet, which is great. And it gets us what we need even if it's windy. So let's go over a little bit of the numbers. So for us, for our 2 plans with Verizon and our hotspot included, which only costs us, I think, $11 and change of this total number, we spend every month a total of about $163 with Verizon for the 2 unlimited plans and the hotspot. Now, obviously, we have costs in on the phone themselves. Both of these we both have iPhone X Plus, whatever the heck those are called, that version. Those are not cheap, right? They're like $1,300. Obviously, you don't need to have that for this system to work. There are a lot of phones with Verizon that you could use, especially if you're just going to use it as a hotspot. You could get a much less expensive. These are super important for us because they're a big part of our business. We do a lot of work on them, and so having a really reliable phone that does a lot was really important for us. The MiFi of that $163 is about $11 and change, including the tax. But the MiFi itself was $199 of upfront costs. Now, you could have gotten it for $99 if you committed to a 2-year contract plan with Verizon. And to be honest, we had read a lot of mixed reviews about this hotspot before we went to it. And so for us, we didn't want to be stuck in a plan with Verizon if it turned out that this wasn't a super reliable option for us. So we opted to pay the extra $100 so we were not in a contract. And, might be a good idea. It might not have been. Totally not sure yet. But it's working so far for us, so maybe it would have been better to just go with the contract. Our Netgear that we get through, again, OTR Mobile, and I'm going to put links to all of this stuff in the description. So if you're interested, we also have a blog post you can check out if you want to read more about all of this. OTR Mobile, this Netgear Nighthawk we got as a refurbished from OTR, and it was about $250 plus tax and whatnot. I looked around, and a refurbished Netgear Nighthawk, they all cost about the same amount. So for us, it's just easier to get it straight from the people that we were getting the chip from. So it actually was less expensive for the chip as a result of buying this direct from them. So it made sense for us. This little bad boy also costs us $60 a month for the unlimited plan. And like I said before, this thing is amazing. When we have the cell phone booster up and we have, 2, 3 bars or 4 or whatever on this, which is really pretty much most of the time, we use this throughout the Airstream, not just for work. So we have this hooked up to our Amazon Dot, our Fire TV stick. We have a Google Home system. And so because we have a consistent Wi-Fi in here at all times, we're really able to take advantage of all those tech devices in our Airstream, which is really nice. So yep, $60 a month for this. Next up would be the cost of the WeBoost. Now, again, this is a pretty expensive device. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't. This came in at about $500 as a one-time cost just for the components of the WeBoost. So that would be the omnidirectional antenna, the internal receiver, and this fun little antenna that goes inside. And this can be moved around, but you do want to keep your device close to this. That's how it boosts the actual device. So for us, we leave this all hooked up on the wall and on the desk in the office, and we keep our hotspots back there as well, and then that will do enough to project through all of the Airstream without a problem. So that was, like I said, $500 one-time fee. And then the WeBoost extension pole was $130. Again, it goes up 25 feet. It's really been a big game changer. We often will see that if it's just at 10 feet, which would be the equivalent of being on top of our Airstream, we might get 1 bar additional boost. And as soon as we start to send it up, we're pretty much guaranteed, if we have a minimum of 2 with nothing, that we're going to have full and fast service. So it's worth it for us. We also then had to get a 50-foot extension cable for this. This runs off of coax cables. Now, you can certainly go to Best Buy or Walmart and buy a, less expensive 50-foot coax cable, but we opted to get the low loss version actually from WeBoost. I think you can probably find it other places, but we were already buying everything, so it's just a little bit easier for us. And that came in at $75. And that might seem like a lot, particularly because I think you can buy 50 feet cables for closer to 30, but those are not low loss. So that means that for every, I think, foot of distance, it begins to lose a bit of its speed. And so that was not something we were interested in. Obviously, if you're sitting at 25 feet and you're going to lose some speed for every foot, that's going to turn out to not be great when it gets back down here on the ground. So we opted for that. And then we also bought the flat WeBoost entry cable, and that was about $25. Again, because that meant we didn't have to drill into the Airstream, and it gives us the flexibility to move the pole around the Airstream for conditions. Definitely worth it. And the fact that it goes through our compartments, we can still lock the compartment, is really amazing, and we love that. So all in, not including the cost of the phone themselves, our total one-time hardware fee was $1,179, and we pay about $230 a month for all of our data plans. And yeah, I get it. That's kind of expensive. If you're looking for a less expensive version of all of this, and you don't need the kind of data and reliability that we do, there are definitely way less expensive options for you. If you're in a taller rig, if you're in a fifth wheel, or if you're in, like a Class A, you can probably just mount the omnidirectional on the roof. We did the same thing on our fifth wheel. We didn't have the extension pole because we were already 13 feet off the ground. And so, that was already, we had it slightly elevated on the roof itself. And so we were at 13, 14 feet. And so we really didn't need the extension pole. Being under 10 feet now, it definitely makes an impact, and having the pole is hugely different for the Airstream. So if you have a small travel trailer, you may also want to consider if you need the pole or not. I totally appreciate that that's a lot of money, but if you're interested in flexibility, reliability, if you're moving around a lot like we do and you don't know whether Verizon's going to be somewhere or AT&T is going to be stronger somewhere, having options is super important for us. I do think that if you're somewhere or you're in part of the country where AT&T is super reliable, you could probably opt to not have the Verizon Wi-Fi hotspot, and you could probably downgrade your cell phone to maybe not have unlimited, and just truly go with the unthrottled OTR. We absolutely love this thing. To have truly unthrottled internet on the road that is reliable, that runs through cell service, so that we can boost it, really is entirely a game changer, and it has made us feel way more comfortable in going to totally different places, more remote places, which is ideally what we want to be doing. We want to spend more time in beautiful, less crowded places. We really don't want to be crammed in RV parks. And so that is our full, reliable, truly unthrottled wireless setup in our Airstream. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you have any follow-ups that you want, we'll definitely respond to you for those. With all of this, I also think that you should consider how you are protecting your services. So for us, we chose to use NordVPN. There are a lot of services for VPNs out there. I'll put a link to them in the description as well. We found Nord to really be super strong as far as customer reviews and what people had to say about it, from its reliability. We also love that we can switch where we're located and kind of trick the internet, particularly like Netflix, and it lets us be able to watch Netflix from the UK, from Australia, from all different places, and we get to watch different shows as a result. So I love that. If you are working remotely from the road, you definitely need to consider getting yourself a VPN and securing your information. If you want to know more about our VPN and all of that, drop a comment in and maybe we'll make a video if enough people are interested. I know there's a ton of different options out there, so do your research, find the one that works best for you. But we would highly recommend Nord. It has proven to be a really great resource. We had it when we were actually in our house, so we have had Nord for a few years and it has been great. There are a ton of promo codes out there that you can get, so definitely don't pay full price for it. It's really expensive, but there are a million promo codes. I'll try to find some for you and put them in the description. So that would make it easier and cheaper for you. All right, so that is our service. I know it's a lot. It's probably overkill, but for us, knowing that we have super reliable internet is key to being able to keeping us on the road and running our business. So again, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll do our best to answer anything or point you in the right direction if it's a question that we can't answer. Don't forget to hit the like button if this video was useful for you, and we'd love for you to subscribe. Josh and I put out videos a few times a week, both about our travels and kind of things like this about what it's like to live on the road, and different resources that we find help keep us on the road and make life on the road feasible. We hope to see you in the next video. Bye!